violence and other kind of violence.
Guess what? I could be at work, at school, in my car, and I can still get shot by the police. But I can get shot anywhere.
So it is what it is.
What's good, YouTube? It's the Black Gen Z Mindset. Make sure you go ahead and like, comment, share, subscribe. Let's get into the video. So I wanted to do this story on Delonte West because, man, he's going down bad. So anyways, former NBA guard Delonte West was arrested Tuesday night for banging on the doors of Florida Police Department and cursing at officers while holding 2 open containers of alcohol. The incident caused an officer to get out his taser, though it is unclear if it was used for the former Dallas Mavericks player. So, you know, they try and paint this narrative that black men can't go nowhere without getting caught by the police and shot by the police. This man literally goes to the police department, banging on the door, drunk as a skunk, and the police subdued him. They didn't shoot him. They didn't kill him. They didn't, you know, whatever. So that whole narrative, you know, it's looking a little fishy. It's looking a little fishy. But then again, we did just do the story on the police brutality with the Ronald Green situation. And that was definitely an unjustified killing. So, you know, we keep it consistent on this channel. But I just think it's funny that this guy goes to the police department, bang on the door, and, you know, gets arrested and all is well. You know what I mean? West, who has publicly spoken about being diagnosed with bipolar disorder, drew the attention of Boynton Beach police just before 9 p.m., then reportedly began to walk away when ordered to stop by officers. He initially refused to comply, then followed commands to place the containers on the sidewalk. He then stood up and put his hands inside his pants, causing the officer to unholster a taser. So it looked like he was, you know, he made a motion to pull the strap. It could have been perceived as, okay? But they pulled out the taser and subdued him. He was then handcuffed, but continued to be belligerent and screaming profanities and obscure rants. He was released on bail 5:46 a.m. Wednesday. The 38-year-old faces charges of resisting arrest without violence, disorderly intoxication, and having an open container stemming from the incident, according to arrest records. In January, West was working at a Florida rehab center that he previously attended, according to ESPN. The former Celtics, Mavericks, and Cavaliers guard made headlines in January 2020 when video of the ex-basketball star showed him bleeding on a Maryland sidewalk in handcuffs after an apparent fight. Mavericks owner Mark Cuban helped his former player get into rehab after the footage went viral. West played in the NBA in 2012 with 2 stops in the Chinese Basketball Association before his professional career officially ended in 2015. He's also known for allegedly smashing LeBron James' mama. So that's his claim to fame. And it looks like he's spiraling out of control, man. And we got a lot of brothers who was on that dope, man. And they definitely are unstable, to say the least. And hopefully he finds help before he does something egregious, because it looks like he's going down that track of, like, he don't give a damn. Because he pulled up on the police like, what's goody? You know what I mean? And tried to cause a ruckus there when he knows that there's a possibility that he could have got shot. So, anyways. All right, and for the next story, man, we got a idiot criminal. And he is from Florida. Florida man arrested for attempting to rob the Waffle House with finger guns. Deputies say the man admitted he went to the Waffle House to get some napkins. He literally could have just asked. A Florida man is behind bars after deputies say he attempted to rob a Waffle House with finger guns. The Madison County Sheriff's Office says at 8:09 p.m. on Monday, October 18th, deputies received a call of an attempted robbery at a Waffle House. It wasn't until authorities arrived that they discovered all that was taken were some napkins, according to the sheriff's office. So he it looks like It looks like he got some swag. He got the SpongeBob shirt. I told you, like, a lot of dudes who be trying to swag out be wearing childish ass clothing. It looks like he's trying to, like, you know, people would call him a wigger, you know what I mean? Like, they would say that he is trying to be black. Witness told deputies Edward Rodriguez, so he's a Hispanic, 28, had walked into the store, it looks like he's a white Hispanic, with a small dog before shouting, "Get on the ground, y'all are getting robbed." Rodriguez would also admit to everyone in the restaurant that he was high and drunk. The sheriff's office says Rodriguez did not have any weapons but raised his hands with his fingers shaped like a gun. When deputies arrived at his home, they say he admitted he went to the Waffle House to get some napkins. Rodriguez is currently at the Madison County Jail where he faces charges of unarmed robbery and assault.
Developing this morning, a homicide investigation is underway after 4 men were shot in North City. We learned that 2 of those men are dead.
This is the second quadruple shooting in less than 48 hours. News 4's Damon Arnold live this morning breaking down what we know right now. Damon?
Yeah, good morning to you, Claire. Right now, police are working to identify suspects or a suspect in these shootings, but they're asking for your help this morning. Hopefully, you can lead them to some new information in these killings.
We know that there were people around. We're certainly asking anybody with additional information would share that with the homicide division.
And guys, this is St. Louis, Missouri. They're having shootings like crazy. Yeah, I mean, like they were also on that defund your police movement, so it's getting pretty ugly out here in the black community.
Or Crime Stoppers, it's people out here that would have seen this.
Here's what we know this hour. It happened shortly before 10 o'clock near Union and Ridge. Police say there was an exchange of gunfire between 2 groups across the street from each other. Upon arrival, police found 2 men in their 20s dead on the scene, another man in critical condition, and the 4th man who was shot has non-life-threatening injuries. Overnight, we went ahead and pulled the homicide stats for you, and here's what we found.
155 homicides this year, which is, they're touting a 25% decrease from 2020. Okay? So we're on pace for the same rate that we had in 2019 in St. Louis. So they're trying to say, oh, it's better than 2020. 155 homicides in one city is not good.
As of this morning, there have been 155 homicides in the city this year. That's a 25% decrease from 2020. So we're on pace to have about the same number of homicides that we did in 2019, which would be 194 by the end of the year. Again, if you have any information, don't hesitate to contact the Homicide Division or Crime Stoppers. I'm reporting live in downtown St. Louis. Damon Arnold, News 4.
This morning with new details on the tragic death of a Huntsville woman.
Christina Nance's body was discovered last week in a parking lot that belongs to the Huntsville Police Department.
Investigators did release surveillance video that captured the situation, and they say it's clear Nance got into the van without any help. Take a look at the video right here. Deputy Chief McCarver with HPD tells us the van was unlocked and 29-year-old Christina Nance was able to get in. But once she did, she could not get out.
So this woman hops in a police car, and they try to paint this picture as, oh, it's some foul play, this, that, and a third. That's what they're going to try to do in the media. Police brutality. But she hops in the van herself and gets trapped. Why are you hopping in a police van?
And that's because the van was bought in the 90s to take people to jail. As police examined hours of video, they saw Nance open a window from inside the van, and that was 3 days after she climbed inside. Nance's body was discovered on October 7th, about 2 weeks after she went inside, after an officer found shoes just outside of the van.
So he went over to look and investigate what was going on and discovered her body in the van. Sometimes you just have to say that was something that shouldn't have happened. It did. Our policies are such that that should not have happened.
I mean, that's not their fault. That's not their fault. But I'm going to show you, I mean, this is an objective coverage of the situation. They got footage. I'm going to show you the difference in coverage.
And now we have to look at that, and we have to make sure that we have things in place so that that does not happen again.
And all we wanted was just facts of exactly how our sister died in a van, and we did not get that. We are still unsure.
There's a video of her getting in the van. What more do you want?
Sure of how our sister Christina Nance died in the van. That was not stated or pointed out.
I like her mask though, the purple checkered Louis V. Pretty nice.
In the video, all the video shown was Christina entering the van.
And Deputy Chief McCarver tells us there are no signs of foul play or trauma to the body. He also added officers knew Ms. Nance and their crisis intervention team have worked to provide her resources in the past.
It sounds like she's a junkie, honestly. No disrespect to her. But it sounds like she was off that shit and she gets in the truck, gets herself trapped, and the rest is history.
Nance's family sat down with the Huntsville police to view the video themselves, but they don't feel any closure because the video quality is so poor.
Of how she ended up there. I have no idea of how she ended up there. Out of all places, why there? Why in their van?
It's been more than 1 week since Huntsville police.
They're asking out of all places why in their van. I mean, honestly, if she's on drugs and they have tried to provide relief for her before, or maybe she has some type of mental illness, it could have been anybody's van, honestly.
Officers say they found the body of 29-year-old Christina Nance in an unused police van in the public safety complex parking lot. This is video from a camera on top of the police building pointed toward the parking lot.
No one's sitting and watching this specific camera that I'm aware of, no. These are just so that if you have an event and you need to go back and look, as you can see there, how difficult she is to see.
Even the timeline of Christina Nance's final days remains unclear. Huntsville police say Nance walked into the public safety complex parking lot on September 25th.
Miss Nance is observed in the video walking around the parking lot. She lays down in the bushes at some point. She sits.
Shorty's walking around the parking lot, lays down in the bushes. I mean, why didn't y'all get y'all family member off the streets? Like, is she homeless or something? But you know what? I get it though, cause you can't make somebody do nothing that they don't want to do. So if they want to be off that stuff, off those drugs, man, hey. I mean, what happens, unfortunately, is what happens. Like, you get yourself in trouble.
It's on the hood of a police car for some time. She approaches other cars in the parking lot.
Police say Nance gets into the back of a van. 3 days later, on the 28th, surveillance video shows movement coming from inside of the vehicle, a former prison transport van, which hadn't been used since March, designed to keep people locked inside and with no way to get out. 4 days later, on October 2nd, Nance's family reported her missing. But it wouldn't be for 5 more days, October 7th, until Huntsville police say an officer saw shoes outside of the van, which led to the discovery of the lifeless body of Christina Nance.
I mean, obviously she suffocated. She messed up. She messed up. She took that L. She was geeked up out of her mind. They said 3 days into it, she opened a window. Why? Maybe she wasn't strong enough to bust the window, whatever. I don't know, but doesn't look like any foul play, honestly.
A mystery deepened by the lack of obvious clues.
The body was sent for a preliminary autopsy. We are waiting for the full results, which would include the toxicology. But we did get, as you know, the preliminary, which showed obviously no trauma to the body, no signs of any foul play.
A toxicology report could take weeks. In the meantime, Deputy Chief Dwayne McCarver says while they don't suspect foul play, the department will review its policies.
Sometimes you just have to say that was something that shouldn't have happened. It did. Our policies are such that should not have happened, and now we have to look at that, and we have to make sure that we have things in place so that does not happen again.
I mean, they're probably gonna protest, you know, but this is junkie behavior, honestly. It really is. I don't think that, like, why would they go out of their way to keep her in a van? Like, at first when I saw the story, I thought somebody arrested her and they just kept her in the van. I'm like, damn, that's ruthless. But nah, she got in the van herself and she was geeked up, it looks like, and you know, The autopsy says no trauma or anything like that. So it sucks, man. But hey, stay away from drugs, guys.
She was just very positive.
But the family of Christina Nance says the poor quality of the surveillance video and the lack of information as to how she died leaves more questions than answers.
It was just very heartbreaking to know that we didn't get the clarification that we really needed, that we wanted.
Gang violence and other kind of violence. So it is what it is.